number 19. He's doing it. I hope somebody with a camera can somehow get somewhere high and in the back and photograph this crowd here. This is kind of neat. Yeah, we'll put somebody on the roof. So thanks everybody for coming. A lot of acknowledgments for today. This was a big project. It came on us quickly and got executed quickly, and we're so grateful to so many people. And we want to start mentioning we've invited a lot of people here, and of course Tri-State members are here. We're so grateful to the Morristown and Erie for hosting this, for allowing the locomotive to be preserved. You know, it's a grand gesture that's bigger than all of us, because this locomotive will now outlast all of us, and future generations will see what an Alco Century was all about, and they'll learn about the Morristown and Erie, because our plan is to keep it Morristown and Erie 19. So much stuff in the museum collections. You know, you look at all of us in here, some of us are older, but the young ones who are working on the equipment, a lot of it is so old they don't have any direct connection to the equipment. They didn't see it operate. They didn't get to play with it. Well, the M&E 19 has pulled excursions for all of us. I'm sure everybody here has been in the engine at least once. We've all been, since the '88 convention. It was a big part of it. It operated at New Hope. It operated at Bayway for a long time. It's been a Morristown and Erie mainstay for 30-something years, and it's a big part of all of us. All of us have a connection to this engine. So it's indeed appropriate that it be preserved. One of the big players, there's so many people quickly offered up donations of everything from money to services to parts and bits, but we'd like to especially thank the Liberty Historic Railway for really spearheading it. They came forward with a big plus that helped get us over the hump. The locomotive needed wheels and other stuff, and because of the big donation, we were able to get the smaller ones to get the stuff done. So we're so grateful. What I'd like to do is introduce everybody to the Morristown and Erie Chief Operating Officer, Chuck Jensen.
Thank you, Mike. Just like to say welcome this afternoon. It's a privilege to be here with a bunch of co-enthusiasts. As some of you may know, I'm pretty enthusiastic about railroading, have been for a long time. It's a real pleasure to be associated with the M&E. I've been here 15 years, and it's even more of a pleasure to be able to have this locomotive go to an organization that's interested in preserving history for railroading, particularly this locomotive and the equipment here on Morristown and Erie. We kind of think the Morristown and Erie is a family, a group of railroaders. Most of us are enthusiasts. I make no bones about that. I think that's a good thing to be in the railroad business. As you know, there are some that may not think that way, but that's not what I think. So we're glad to be able to do this. We hope you guys enjoy the ride this afternoon for the last trip on the M&E. Maybe not the last trip. We'll see what happens. Just thank the Tri-State people, Kevin Phelan, Mike, just everybody associated with Tri-State. Thank you guys very much, and we're glad to be able to have the locomotive survive and not go somewhere else where it doesn't belong. Thank you.
Thank you, Chuck. Next, I'd like to call up the two newest members who have become officers in the club, and they were pretty much the prime mover. The board of directors, kind of kept an eye on the whole project, but these two guys are the prime movers, and an amazing bundle of energy, and they pulled it all off, including arranging everything for this day. So I'd like to introduce Kevin Phelan and Richie King.
Thank you, Mike. So I'm the treasurer of Tri-State. This project started with a text from Kevin's brothers, Matt, who is one of our volunteer conductors today. The text stated that 19 was up for sale and the M&E wanted to talk to us first. Later that week, Kevin, Steve Falco, our secretary, and I walked into the M&E's office to discuss the possibility of acquiring the locomotive. We had no idea how or if we could do it, but what we did know is that if any locomotive in this state could get the support it needed to save it from scrap, it was number 19. Only 8 weeks later, Kevin and I walked back into the M&E's office with a check for the engine. As the group's treasurer, it is my job to manage Tri-State's money. I sign the checks, go to the bank, and pay the bills. I run Tri-State's treasury out of a briefcase which seems to follow me wherever I go, and I must confess that during the majority of this project, I managed the group's finances from my college dorm room. After Liberty Historic Railway agreed to fund the purchase of 19, we still needed to raise additional funds to get the engine running again. What followed was the most astounding part of the process, and I'll turn it over to Kevin to talk about that.
Hi, I'm Kevin Fallon. I'm the Vice President of Tri-State as of the beginning of this year. If you donated to this engine or you've been on Facebook or in any time in the 2 weeks after we bought it, you've probably seen my name about 100 times, so for that I'm sorry. But it seemed to have worked, so I'm not that sorry. So to raise money for this project, we opted for crowdfunding, and if you're not familiar with that, crowdfunding is basically an online campaign that focuses on individual donations to reach a larger goal. For that, we set a goal of $5,000. If you're familiar with crowdfunding at all, it almost never works for projects like this, for railroad projects, for whatever reason. We were confident, though, that if any engine or any project was going to get the kind of public support that it needed, it was going to be this one. And thankfully, everybody here proved us right. So I want to share a couple quick facts about that. So to reach that $5,000 goal, we reached that goal in less than 2 weeks. It was exactly 13 days to raise $5,000. That, keep in mind, for most fundraisers, there's gifts, there's incentives, there's whatever they can do to get money out of people, and that was with zero incentive. That was $5,000 of money that people wanted to give us because they wanted to see this engine saved. We also cleared that by several $1,000s, and right now we stand at $8,800 that we've raised for this engine, in addition to the original purchase price. Of those, over 80 donations, which you can see the individuals on the poster over at the table, over 30 of them were $100 or more. Several of them were $1,000 or more. And the average donation, by the way, was $106 per person. Add to that the fact that we, since we bought 19, we've attracted over 50 new members to the organization just in these past 2 months alone, which is just about a 40-50% increase from the beginning of the year. So on behalf of Tri-State and myself, I just want to thank everybody who appreciates this project as much as we do. And we want to thank you all for being here to see it in person. Part of Tri-State's mission is to preserve and restore railroad equipment and artifacts. Part of our role as in the United Railroad Historical Society is that we want to play a key role in our collective mission to establish a permanent museum site in New Jersey. We see number 19 as a part of that. Not in 23 years, which is, by the way, longer than my lifetime, has a running locomotive from New Jersey been preserved in this state. It is our hope that 19 serves as a reminder that this mission is alive and well in New Jersey. And with the cutting of this ribbon, 19 officially becomes a part of that mission, and we hope that it'll live a long and active career as part of the Tri-State Collection. With that, we have one more person we need to thank, and that is Bill McKelvey. At the beginning of this project, while we were racking our brains trying to figure out how exactly we're going to do this, we knew we wanted to save it. We didn't know how, but we figured we'd at least try. Bill was the person who stepped up to let us do that. He didn't ask for attention. He didn't ask for, anything in return. He certainly didn't ask for a train ride with a party of 200 people. Humble as he tries to be, he's the reason that every single one of us is standing here today. So, Bill, I would like to hand you this comically large pair of scissors to cut the ribbon.
Jack, May, George LaPierre, come on up here. a hedge clipper, right? It's a 30 share. Larry, how come you're not up here? Can I do it? Ready? Aim, go. We gotta save the piece of that ribbon.
This fellow right there in the black shirt.
Once the train leaves, we can close them up.
No, not him.
Guy with 614 bags. Unrecovered alcohol. Sold at 99. It's right near the old engineering building. Shed there. Yeah, it was next to another engineering car.
Take river.
Really? How they look? Yeah. Real smooth. And then I wrote a picture of it. I haven't seen it.
I haven't done that yet. I wanted to. I took my